Hello everyone, I'm Emily Kate Symes and welcome to the Conscious Eko Series, episode 4. And today we'll be chatting to you about doing business consciously and sustainably. A new and refreshing and meaningful way of doing business. One that starts with you, explores who you are, what you stand for, and why you're here. Research has proven that this forward-thinking and sustainable way of doing business helps to ensure empowerment of people, planet, and profits too. A conscious business is a company that has a holistic awareness of the impact on its actions, continually strives to do better, and addresses at least one social or environmental problem through its business model or operations, and has a higher purpose beyond profit. And on that note, today I have a very special guest and friend, Wisdom Westlake from All About Salon. Hi, Wisdom.
Hi, Emily.
How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Lovely to see you.
And you, as always.
I've just had my hair done fully sustainably by Wisdom here at the salon in Surrey Hills. So, Wisdom, can you please tell me, how did you get into hairdressing? What made you love hairdressing?
Well, it's a funny story. I kind of jumped about a bit in careers between the ages of 16 and 18, so I didn't get on the floor till I was 18 years old. But once you work in a busy salon with lots of people, inspiring people, you get a real buzz, it's just a really great vibe. And ever since experiencing that, I decided that's what I was going to do.
That's amazing. I can really see the passion in everything that you do, especially here at the salon, and it really shows in your work. I absolutely love my hair. Thanks, Wisdom.
Oh no, it looks great. Thank you.
So can you tell me what made you want to start a conscious or sustainable business? Was that something you'd always wanted to do, or did you just fall into it?
I think it grew. I think after seeing how much waste salons produce over the years, I was dumbstruck as to why people wouldn't be sustainable. So when I started my business, I realised that it's actually the harder thing to do to be sustainable, but on your conscience, it pays off. So that's how I started.
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of people realise the amount of waste that goes into doing your hair. Like, we think about fashion, we think about food waste, but every time I've gotten my hair done in the past, I've never actually thought about that waste component. So it's really great to see that you're actually implementing those procedures in your business to alleviate waste. And you're partnered with Sustainable Salons, Australia, New Zealand. Can you please tell me more about that?
So we decided to partner with Sustainable Salons, Australia and New Zealand, because they're a salon-specific company. So they do great things like recyclable hair clippings. You would never actually think that your old hair could go to something so great, but it really does. Things like excess colour can be recycled into drinking water. They use that for agricultural purposes, so it's really quite interesting.
That's amazing. And I heard something about oil spills they're mopping up with the excess hair.
That's right. So touching back on what I said about the hair, they actually make that into big hair booms, they're called. They're almost like big hair sausages.
Wow.
And they take those, and any oil spills that are in the ocean, they pop them on, and just like the hair would soak up the oil on your head, they soak up the oil in the ocean.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it really is.
Now, Wisdom, with this company, like, how long have you been doing things sustainably or consciously?
We've been doing things sustainably since day one. So ever since we opened.
Amazing.
Waste management was probably in my top 3 most challenging things when I started. It is crazy how much waste you produce. And finding the right provider as well, and the partners you want to partner with, is really difficult. So it's a big step to do, but it's definitely the right one. We haven't looked back. And really, clients love you for it. Clients know that they're coming to somewhere sustainable, they're doing their bit, and are happy to pay for it.
Why did you find that challenging? What was sort of the roadblocks you encountered? Can you shed some light
Absolutely.
on that?
It costs more to be sustainable, which is difficult as a startup. One of those, you're always trying to watch your costs and those sort of things. It's weighing up what benefits you're going to get from being a sustainable business to the cost. And for me, I can attract a type of clientele that I want to work with and are happy to pay more for sustainable services. that's a difficult decision initially, but it pays off in the end.
Wow, it sounds like you've really aligned your work with your values and what you're passionate about, and it looks like it's paying off with people, planet, and profits too. You've been really successful. Wisdom, now I've heard you're quite inclusive. How are you inclusive in your work, and what does that look like for All About Salon?
So it's funny, when I decided that we were going to have an inclusivity policy, I really based that on the fact that lots of salons market themselves as exclusive. People aren't comfortable in those spaces. A lot of the people I was talking to out and about were telling me how confronting it is to go into hair salons at times. So I had to really try and portray that we do have an inclusivity policy. What that corresponds to is using ethnically diverse models, people from the LGBTQIA+ community, sex workers, anyone that doesn't fit the mold is how we try and connect with.
Wow, that's incredible. You know, as a woman of colour myself, I've really experienced a bit of racism in this country, and it's hard to find somewhere where you feel inclusive and, you know, it feels okay to be you. And I think that's great what you're doing. I love coming here. I love feeling valued and, you know, being promoted on the social media, no matter what you look like. And yeah, I think that has a huge impact. I think that's the only way forward. I think businesses need to be a bit more conscious, more mindful, and more inclusive, because that in itself is sustainable. So can you tell me, Wisdom, what's the best piece of advice you've been given, and what advice would you impart on people who are wanting to do business more consciously and sustainably?
So the best piece of advice I've been given is to always act consciously, do the right thing even when people aren't watching.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great piece of advice. The piece of advice I would give is not to try and cut corners. There are so many times I have tried to cut a corner with something and it has backfired on me big time, and I've had to spend 10 times as much to make it right. So I think do it right and do it right the first time.
Amazing. I definitely can relate to that. I've done that in my business, and yeah, it's definitely taken its toll on me and cost me a lot of time and energy too. Now, Wisdom, just a last question here. Now, is there any tools or resources? What do you find helps support you on this journey in business? Like, is it, books or podcasts or people who've been inspiration for you?
Absolutely. So my morning starts out, I get up, I exercise just to clear my mind for 20 minutes, and that really helps you have a clear focus for the day. Then I listen to podcasts and books. I've got a great app called Blinkist, and you can listen to any book in 15 minutes. And they tend to be motivational books, people that you really look up to. So yeah, I love listening to that. And books, yeah, I think you can't read enough books.
And what in particular would you say about the podcast? Is it because you're busy that you prefer podcasts over, watching a series or watching something on YouTube? Is that the way forward, do you think, podcasts, because you're quite a busy person?
I think you need to have all facets of it. I think podcasts are great because they can connect everyone from all over the globe. So a great person from that side of the world can be this side of the world. When it's on video, you have to kind of be in the same room, I suppose. Mm-hmm. I think what 2020 has taught us is that we don't want to be on Zoom constantly.
Amazing. And any last words of advice or people out there who haven't heard about you and want to know more about conscious and sustainable business?
So I think my piece of advice would be sustainability pays off in the end. People will appreciate you for it, it gives you a great reputation, and you will stand out in the crowd.
Thank you, Wisdom. Thank you so much for being here. It's been amazing having you here today. And I wanted to touch base on that. Like you said, it does pay off in the end. It might be harder, more expensive, and difficult to do the right thing, even when people aren't watching. But the results speak for themselves. A happier people, happier planet, and your profits soar too. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and watch out for the next episode. Bye. Thanks.